I finished work at 7 p.m. yesterday. My entire day was emails, meetings, urgent messages. I was busy for 9 straight hours. But when my boss asked what I achieved, I had nothing to show for it. Nothing important, anyway. How is it possible to be so busy but achieve so little?
Because the goal most people have is wrong. We try to manage our time, but time is not the resource that matters most.
What do you mean? Of course time matters. I don't have enough of it.
Most professionals have enough time. They don't have enough attention. We spend our days managing minutes when we should be protecting our focus. We think busyness is a sign of productivity. It's the opposite. It's a sign that we're doing the wrong kind of work.
The wrong kind of work? Work is work. My company pays me to answer emails and solve problems as they appear.
Does it? Or does it pay you to create value that is hard to replace? Think about your day. You have 2 types of work. One is like walking in a swimming pool with the water up to your knees. It's easy to move. You can talk to people, you can check your phone. It feels like you're doing something.
Okay, that sounds like my entire day.
That is shallow work. It's necessary, replying to simple emails, attending status updates, administrative tasks. But it creates very little new value. It's work that almost anyone with a little training could do.
So you're saying most of my job is low value? That's a little insulting.
It's not about you. It's the nature of modern work. The system is designed to keep us in the shallow end. It feels productive. Checking 50 emails feels like an accomplishment. But did it move your most important project forward?
No, not at all. It just cleared my inbox for an hour. So what's the other kind of work?
That's the deep end of the pool, where you can't touch the bottom. It requires your full concentration, no distractions. This is where you solve difficult problems, learn a complex skill, or create a new strategy. This is deep work, and it's the only place where real career growth happens.
Okay, I understand the difference. Deep work is the hard stuff. Shallow work is the easy, busy stuff. The solution seems obvious. I just need to do more deep work.
It sounds obvious, but people believe something that stops them. They believe focus is a matter of willpower. They think if I were more disciplined, I could ignore my email. I could resist checking my phone.
Yes, that's exactly what I think. I feel weak when I get distracted.
And that belief is why most people fail. They try to fight a battle against their own brain and against an office culture designed for distraction. And they lose every day. Your willpower is like a small muscle. It gets tired. You can't use it for 8 hours straight. The world's most focused people don't have more willpower than you.
Then what do they have?
They have a better system. They don't fight distractions. They design their day so that distractions cannot reach them. The goal is not to be a person who can resist temptation. The goal is to be a person who rarely has to.
How? By locking myself in a room with no internet? That's not realistic.
It's less dramatic than that. It starts by respecting a simple principle. Your brain cannot switch between tasks without a cost. Every time you glance at an email or a message, a part of your attention stays behind. It leaves a cognitive residue. So even if you look away for just 30 seconds, your brain doesn't fully return to the hard problem. You come back at 80% capacity. Then another interruption, and you're at 60%. This is why you can work all day and feel exhausted, but have nothing to show for it. You've been working with a fraction of your mind.
So the key is not just blocking time, but blocking time for uninterrupted focus.
Exactly. You need blocks of consecutive time. 90 minutes of consecutive single-task focus is more productive than a whole afternoon of distracted, shallow work. Think of it like a surgeon in an operating room. She doesn't check her email in the middle of a procedure. She creates an environment where deep work is the only possible option.
That makes sense, but it still feels like there's a problem, a big one. My boss, my team, my clients, they expect me to be available. If I just disappear for 90 minutes, I'll create bottlenecks. I'll look like I'm not a team player.
That's the second belief that keeps people stuck. The belief that constant availability is the same as professional value.
Isn't it? Being responsive is seen as a good quality.
It is, but we have come to confuse responsive with instantaneous. People believe that if they don't reply to an email within 10 minutes, they are failing. They fear missing out on a critical conversation.
That fear is very real. I feel it every day.
I know, but this belief quietly fails us. It trains everyone around you to expect an instant answer. You are creating the very culture of interruption that prevents you from doing your most important work. You are trading long-term value for short-term responsiveness. The The work that truly advances your career is the kind that is hard to replicate. Answering an email in 2 minutes, anyone can replicate that. Writing a brilliant project proposal that wins a new client, that is much harder to replicate. That's your real value.
So what's the new way to think about this? How do I balance being responsive with doing this deep work?
You stop being reactive and you start being deliberate. You don't just disappear, you communicate your work habits. For example, instead of just going silent, you can set an auto reply or a status message that says, "Focusing on the Q3 budget until 11 a.m. I will see and reply to all messages then."
So you're not ignoring people. You're just telling them when they can expect a response.
Precisely. You are managing their expectations. What you discover is that 99% of urgent requests are not actually urgent. The sender just wants to know that their message has been received and will be handled. By being deliberate, you give them that certainty without sacrificing your own focus. You are teaching people how to work with you.
Okay, I see how these pieces fit together. Distinguish deep from shallow work, protect blocks of consecutive time, and manage expectations so I can actually use that time. But if this is all true, why are so many smart, successful people still trapped in shallow work? Why is the whole world working this way?
Because shallow work feels safe. It gives you a constant sense of accomplishment. You answer an email, you check a box. It's a small, satisfying hit of dopamine. Deep work is uncomfortable. It involves struggling with a hard problem with no guarantee of a quick solution. You might spend 2 hours on a difficult task and feel like you've made no progress.
That's a feeling I hate, the feeling of being stuck.
Everyone does. The modern office is a machine to help you avoid that feeling. There is always another email to answer, another meeting to join. These are easy, low-risk activities. They protect you from the difficult, high-risk, high-reward work. Choosing deep work is choosing to be uncomfortable.
It sounds like a trade-off. Short-term comfort for long-term value.
That is the perfect way to describe it. Most people choose the comfort of being busy. The most valuable professionals choose the discomfort of being focused.
So how does this all come together as a system? It feels like 3 different ideas.
They are one idea. Think of it like building a fortress to protect your attention. First, you must identify what you are protecting. That is your deep work. You must be able to separate it from the shallow tasks that can wait.
Okay, that's step 1. Know what matters.
Second, you build the walls. This is your schedule. You build walls of time, 90-minute blocks, for example, where nothing from the outside can get in. This is your consecutive, protected focus time. No email, no phone, no interruptions.
And the third part?
You build a gate, and you tell people when it will be open. This is your deliberate communication. You're not trapping yourself inside forever. You are telling your colleagues, the gate to my attention will be open at 11 a.m. and again at 3 p.m. Please leave your messages, and I will attend to them then.
So it's not about becoming a hermit. It's about becoming the architect of your own focus.
Exactly. You are replacing a reactive, chaotic workflow with an intentional, structured one. You decide what your mind works on, not your inbox.
So if I want to put this into practice, I need to be more deliberate about my schedule.
Yes, and you must also be honest about which tasks are just shallow activity.
And the goal isn't just to find time, but to find blocks of consecutive time to avoid that cognitive residue.
That is the core of it. The value of your work is not a simple function of time spent. It is a function of time spent multiplied by the intensity of your focus. 90 minutes of intense focus can produce a result that is impossible to replicate even in a full week of distracted work.
It's not about managing my time anymore. It's about protecting my mind.
That is the transformation.
I always thought the goal was to get more done, to be more productive. But it sounds like the real goal is to do more things that matter.
And to accept that doing so requires doing fewer things that don't.
It's not about finding more hours. It's about making the hours count.